Well, I'm Bridgette Hempstead, and my story began, well, actually, it started 57 years ago when I was born. Thank you, Mom. But fast forward to being 34, and I was sitting on my couch. My daughter was 2.5 years old, my baby daughter, and the Lord spoke to me and said, go get a mammogram and do it now. And so I'm sitting there, she's asleep, the phone's right here. I grabbed the phone and I called to set up that appointment for a mammogram. I really wasn't thinking about cancer, but I made that appointment. So I go in and I made the appointment. I go into the doctor's office and there's like, oh, wow, it's really good to see you. And let's do a breast exam and then see, what we'll go from there. The doctor began to give me a laundry list of reasons why I didn't need a mammogram. Then she told me, you're African American. It doesn't happen to your community. Come back in 10 years. So I looked at her and I said, okay, the Lord spoke to me. I said, I want a mammogram and I want it now. I got the bossiness from my mom. And so she gave me a mammogram, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer on my 35th birthday. But wasn't I cute? Did I show it? Is she there? There she is. 35 with a hat and sassy. So my diagnosis came when I was 35 that morning on my birthday. And so I called my mom. At that time, I was married. And as I called my mother, she says, if the Lord warned you about getting a mammogram and now you're diagnosed with breast cancer, you have a work to do. So go do that work. So bandaged up after the surgeries and everything, I went on and I started 3 days after my diagnosis, an organization called Sierra Sisters, African American Breast Cancer Organization. Sierra is an African word that means knowing. If you have knowledge, you have the power to fight against the effects of breast cancer. My advocacy started right away. Why? Because it needed to. All you saw was white women celebrating, I'm a cancer survivor, and wearing pink. There were no African American, no black faces in 1996 celebrating. I wanted to make sure that I made a difference. So, Sierra Sisters came about. Why? We've got 20 to 40% more African Americans that are likely to die from breast cancer. There's a myriad of reasons why this ends up happening. And one, we're told it's not going to happen to you. Or they have symptoms and the doctors are saying, let's just wait and see. Then that wait and see ends up being a death sentence too early. Not that we're not all going to die one day, but how about let's live some life and live it to the fullest. So Sierra Sisters was born out of the frustrations of there's nothing out there for my community. And I'm a black woman with breast cancer out here wanting to make a difference. So we have a trained program called SEPS, and the picture up here to my left, on this side. That's a picture of a woman who was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. And so she was told something different by another healthcare system. We got her out of that healthcare system, got her into a healthcare system that understood what triple-negative was, knew how to treat it, and the treatment plan totally changed. And so when we looked up the statistics of the doctor that she was going to see, everybody was really pissed off about it because everybody that saw him died right away. So she went into a new system. We have our advocate there, educator that is supporting her through the process. Sierra Sisters also do some incredible outreach in the community. Here you'll see that we do a wellness festival, and we deliver 1,000 bags of life-saving information door to door to the community. Why? Because sometimes our community are not going to come out to these healthcare events because of the trust issue. There's some real serious issues there. So they went up to cars, up to houses. They went as families to make sure that our community knows exactly what's going on and how to access health care today. And sometimes the barriers are so incredible that they don't want to go to the doctors. They're afraid to go to the doctors. And when they go to the doctors are telling them, you're okay. And then you're not okay. So which is it? Am I okay or am I not okay? Somebody tell me the truth. So let me share with you a story about Miss Bonnie. Isn't she beautiful? Bonnie was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Before it turned to stage 4, it was stage 3. And the doctors told her she lived in Alaska, she came down to Seattle, she found Sierra Sisters. And the first thing I asked her was, did they tell you about any clinical trials that are going on for your situation? She said, I don't know what you're talking about. Her doctor never told her that there were clinical trials that were available to her. So we got her into a clinical trial. It was great. The clinical trial was working. But what happened? The disease was so far gone, it was not able to give her more time. And she said, I thought I had more time. So as an organization, we came together. We made sure that Bonnie was never alone. When she passed away, she didn't pass away by herself. But the healthcare system failed her in Alaska and in Seattle. That was not a part of an adequate healthcare system for her. So Bonnie, as she bravely said before she passed away, I took her from the hospital and we were going to go on taking another sister that needed to desperately go to the hospital, and if she didn't go and have surgery, she would have passed away that time, not Bonnie. So Bonnie is in her trench coat, a hat, scarf, and I said, well, I'll take you to the house, let you get rested. She says, no, I'm a Sierra Sisters. I'm riding to the hospital with you. So she leaves from her hospital bed to another hospital bed, helping another woman, making sure that her life will continue to go on. So fast forward 18 years later, I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer disease. The doctors then told me that, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Take this medicine and you'll be fine. So that wasn't the deal. I was diagnosed. I had it in my lungs and my liver. And the doctor that I was seeing, the oncologist I was seeing, says to me and my daughter, you only have a year to live and you will never sing again. My daughter told me, I jumped off the table and I pointed my finger at the doctor and said, I don't receive it in the name of Jesus. I don't remember that. You'll have to ask Dee Dee. So being faced with, I'm going to die soon, my daughter and my sisters booked a trip and we went parasailing in Jamaica. So she said 3 days later, she said, Mom, you called me up and you said, oh, I'm not ready to die yet. I'll just keep on living. And so I did. However, that was 5 years ago. And being in the trenches of this healthcare system, where one, we're not respecting the end of life. Two, we're ending life sometimes way too early, not willing to give the best care for our patients that are patients of color. We got to make a difference, right? So, yes. If now I'm being treated as a chronic disease, then give me the treatment. The doctor that I had went to, I asked her, I said, I'd like to be a part of a clinical trial. She refused. I fired her. Can we fire him? Okay. And went and got a doctor I had been working with in outreach for over 20 years. And so I'm on different types of medication. I've never had chemo, the chemo drip, and I've never lost my hair, although I don't have any eyebrows. I painted those on today. And I continue to sing. So 9 months later, I was invited to the Seahawks-Cowboys game to sing the national anthem before 90,000 people. There's a documentary that they have on me singing at church. And so this is what I say. Live your life to the best, to the fullest. Live it, and when you leave with a bang. Right? Who's going to go parasailing with me? That was amazing. My daughter says, Mom, let's go. I thought we were just going to go on a boat trip in the ocean. And so they say, step into this. I'm like, what is this? So I'm stepping in, getting ready to go parasailing, didn't know it. We're up in the air. My daughter gets me up in the air. She says, oh, my God, I'm scared. I'm like, this is amazing. What's wrong with you? So go parasailing. Live your best life. Live it to the end. When you leave with a bang. Why am I going to sit around dwelling on the fact that one day I'm going to leave? Because we are going to leave. However, let me go when I'm ready to go or when my body says it's just had too much. But don't let it happen because a doctor says, you're black. I'm going to hide treatments from you. I'm going to hide these different things from you. I'm not going to let you get into a clinical trial. We have the power. So I want you to do something. I want you to stand up. We often hear in the Bible that, tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We may not wake up tomorrow. I want you to give yourself a hug, a nice little hug. And let me ask you the question, are you here today? Yes. So tomorrow, they said tomorrow's not promised, but I want to leave you with this. Today was the tomorrow that wasn't promised. Live your life to the fullest and leave with a bang.